Email marketing builds momentum fast. One day you're sending a monthly newsletter for a single brand, and the next, your client roster expands, and you're suddenly juggling a half dozen independent campaigns. Mailchimp is the industry standard for getting these emails out, but its core architecture is designed around a single business entity. That structural limit creates a bottleneck for in-house marketers, with internal brands, freelancers juggling several distinct clients, and agencies managing massive rosters. These users face a specific choice. Do you cram all those different businesses into one account to keep your daily login simple, or do you build separate accounts to guarantee strict data privacy for every client? Failing to choose a structure deliberately leads to one of two outcomes: hours of operational friction every day, or expensive hidden billing errors. The most tempting default solution is to consolidate everything. Mailchimp has a multi-audience feature that lets you manage different brands under a single login, but this creates a double billing penalty. If a single customer subscribes to brand A and brand B, Mailchimp counts and charges for that person twice, multiplying your monthly invoice. Beyond cost, if one audience triggers spam complaints, it drags down deliverability for every list. For agencies, this shortcut is barred by data privacy needs. You can't mingle client billing, and you definitely can't risk client A seeing client B's metrics. While a single account provides login simplicity, the compounding financial and reputation costs force most professionals to build multiple separate accounts. Once you separate those accounts, you hit a second wall. Imagine an assembly line that has to shut down, swap out its main engine, and slowly spin back up to build a different product. That is the daily reality of managing isolated Mailchimp accounts. You check one client's campaign, log out, clear your browser session, type in new credentials, and pass a two-factor authentication check just to look at the next client's dashboard. Mailchimp's native account switcher requires no setup, but it prevents a manager from monitoring multiple client dashboards at the same time. The official agency-level solution is the Mailchimp Partner Program. However, the Partner Program has barriers to entry. It provides a centralized dashboard, but it requires minimum client account volumes that exclude most freelancers. Mailchimp's native toolkit is a polarizing extreme, either painfully manual for beginners or locked behind agency requirements, leaving the middle tier stranded without a workflow. The first external workaround for simultaneous access is creating separate, dedicated browser profiles in Chrome or Edge. By assigning a specific browser profile to each client, you keep those login sessions independent. For a freelancer managing 2 to 5 clients, this free method is the ideal setup, but we hit a breaking point scaling to 10 or more accounts. This graph compares desktop memory usage against workspace clutter as you add profiles. The memory overhead becomes unsustainable. Browsers crash, and managing a dozen open windows makes rapid campaign deployment impossible. Bypassing this scaling limit requires an infrastructure upgrade to an antidetect browser, like Sendwin. These tools use browser isolation. Every tab runs in a sandboxed environment, where cookies and login data are physically isolated from the adjacent tab. Because sessions never cross-contaminate, an agency can stay logged into 20 accounts simultaneously without triggering security lockouts. There is a cost trade-off. Solving the agency scaling issue requires a monthly subscription fee for the browser tool. You eliminate two-factor authentication delays, safely delegate access to staff without sharing master passwords, and manage everything from one window. At an agency scale, the monthly cost of third-party browser infrastructure is lower than the billable hours lost to daily login friction. The final, most advanced method involves utilizing Mailchimp's marketing API and bridging tools like Zapier. This unlocks enterprise capabilities, such as automated reporting across all client accounts and centralized subscriber deduplication. The trade-off is technical. This route requires high expertise, expensive setup time, and constant maintenance whenever APIs are updated. Custom API builds are for enterprise teams. Most viewers should avoid over-engineering a problem that a browser profile can solve for free. To choose the right framework, you have to match your setup to your exact scale and billing requirements. We can map this to 3 specific profiles. First, the in-house marketer managing internal brands. In-house marketers should generally use a single account, accepting the double billing penalty in exchange for centralized simplicity. For the freelancer, the recommendation is multiple accounts, managed via free Chrome profiles. This ensures clean billing separation for your clients. The scaling agency also needs multiple accounts, but managed via an antidetect browser to delegate access and eliminate login bottlenecks. Optimizing your stack is about identifying the point where operational friction becomes more expensive than a software subscription. If these workarounds feel too restrictive, there is one final alternative. You can move to platforms like ActiveCampaign or HubSpot. These platforms offer native agency subaccounts and multi-brand architecture. They don't require external browser tools because the separation is built into the system. The trade-off here is the labor of migration. You have to weigh the effort of moving years of templates against the daily friction of fighting Mailchimp's design. If a platform's architecture breaks your workflow, you must decide to either invest in the infrastructure to bridge the gap or migrate to a system that fits your scale.